Okay, we're live. Testing, testing. Today on Quality Time with Family Ties, we learn they should have kept Karen around.
And in 3, 2, 1. Hey everybody, welcome to Quality Time with Family Ties. I am one of your hosts, Scott Jones. It has been 1 week and Paul Packler is still trapped on the MTA subway system. Paul!
Looks like he's been taken hostage somewhere. It looks as if somebody's got a gun to his head.
I'm not going to say they don't. I'm just going to wink 3 times.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay, we know you're all right. Paul, how are you doing? We missed you last week. I'm glad you're able to get in here.
I know. I'm good. I'm having internet troubles, so I have to record plugged into the thing. It's ridiculous. I don't even feel like getting into it. We could start a whole podcast about the internet in my apartment.
That happens, Paul, when you live in small-town America like you do. You know, living out in the rural... Where is it you live again?
Inwood.
Manhattan.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Manhattan.
Well, Corey, you know what? I have to say, though, in Inwood, I don't know if you ever got up that far, it's a lot of parks, so it's kind of rural. I've encountered both a raccoon and a skunk on the way from the subway to my apartment.
Well,
Oh.
it's almost like Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom out there, isn't it?
Now, hey, Paul, have you caught any possums out there?
Well, you know, that's what we eat every day. We have possum on our New York-style pizza.
Now, Paul, not that I'm judging, but are you having a beer at 12:51 p.m.?
Yeah, you're not wrong.
I just wanted to make sure I'm not judging. I want you to know that.
It's a 4.9% IPA, so it's not my normal get drunk in a beer. It's more like if you're gonna go out to a barbecue and you need to stay, not embarrass yourself over the course of a day. This is that kind of beer.
You know, I hope the sponsors are listening because we are rife now for your sponsorship and our sponsorship.
Yeah,
absolutely. I don't know why anyone hasn't taken up on this. And Paul, you just came up with a great line. For if you're at a barbecue and don't want to embarrass yourself,
get low alcohol per volume.
Snap.
Anyway,
guys. Well, we're all back together again and jumping into this fabulous episode. Oh boy. And we got 4 more episodes after this?
3.
3, thank God. Okay.
Well, you know what?
One's a 2-parter.
I have to say though, I'm not entirely sure. I haven't done my due research of if the final episode, because it's an hour long. I don't know if it's in 2 parts or 1 part. We have to figure out for our recording if we want to cover the whole episode or break it up. What do you guys think?
I don't know. Let's play it by ear. I'm good either way.
It was broadcast separate half hours, though, right? Or was it broadcast in 1 hour?
I think it was broadcast in 1.
So it was supersized.
Yeah.
My guess it would be 2, and my thinking is, and we need to take this into consideration without spoiling anything. It sounds like it's a very heavy, dramatic episode.
So do you want to do it in a Band-Aid, one fell swoop, or do you want to divvy it up amongst 2 awful episodes about Steven's dad dying?
I think it would be fun just to see how many shoot me, fuck me, kill me's Corey would write in an hour-long episode.
All right. So there you go. There's our announcement. Our season finale of season 3. We're going to cover the whole hour-long episode.
Oh yeah.
We just had a really interesting moment right before we talked about the logistics of our last episode where we all were like, okay, so let's dive into this episode, and all 3 of us sort of went, yeah, okay, right. And it just reminded me, I had this girlfriend, and she had an incredible body. I must have been, 20, I'm guessing I was 23 years old, and it was in New York, and she was a dancer, and she had the best body I think I had ever slept with. And every time she came over, she was a sweet girl. She had not a lot to say for herself, but she was a very sweet girl, and I actually liked her, and I thought, okay, well, we'll give this a try, because, her body was incredible. And every time she came over, it was slam dunk, we were going to have sex. And every time, right before we had sex, I thought to myself, okay, I'll have sex with her. And that's sort of how I feel about this episode. It's like, okay, we'll review this episode, okay, we'll do it. Whatever.
We'll do it. We'll talk about it. Yeah, it's like that's exactly it. It's a whatever episode.
You know what, Corey? I was answering a question on Twitter, but in a sort of meta commentary of this episode, I was half paying attention, even though I should have paying full attention, which is exactly how I watched this episode. So
there we go.
No. I mean, I heard bits and pieces of you talking about a really sexy body girl and you in your 20s. And I was like, I wish I could be paying attention, but again, in a meta commentary, I didn't pay attention.
What's also really funny is you in this episode, Paul, you said that you were just sort of paying attention to watching it. Scott said he didn't even take notes for this episode. And I took copious notes, but at a certain point, and I'll let you know when that comes, I simply wrote the word "done." And that was it. That's when I stopped taking notes.
No.
That was it. My last
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Corey, whenever that happens, if Logan is around, turn it over to him because he did great last time.
I wasn't going to watch it last night. I thought I was going to watch with him, but he didn't.
Oh,
it's very fun.
If he's around, turn it over to him. We would love for him to commentate. All right, let's get into it. If you're playing along at home, we are at episode 21 of season 3. Bringing Up Baby. The writers are going to be dealing with Baby again. That's pretty much what it's going to be like with Family Ties for forever.
Yeah, they're just like running through all of the best and worst, I would say more worst puns about babies that they could possibly think up.
Oh yeah.
Like this episode has nothing to do Bringing Up Baby was an old 30s screwball comedy with Cary Grant and Katharine Hepburn. I highly recommend everyone who's listening watch it. It's so funny. It's so funny. But it's about she's like the original Manic Pixie Dream Girl type thing, but better written actually than like Kirsten Dunst in Elizabethtown. But so he's like a sort of like cloistered guy, and then she's this crazy woman who just falls in love with him and annoys him until the point that he falls in love with her. And it's really funny, and this has nothing to do with the title, or the way that they use the title, Bringing Up Baby. Like, a husband and wife trying to have sex with their kids around has nothing to do with the title. I have no idea why they used it.
Only for the fact that the kids are annoying in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we start off in the living room, and Jennifer is on the phone. Alex needs to use the phone. There is so much phone business in this episode. It drove me nuts, especially when
crazy.
Oh your God! Especially when we have established the Keatons have 2 phone lines.
I wrote down in this first scene, I don't understand this. My family had a second phone line in 1970, and we're in 1984. And not only don't they have a second phone line, or they do have a second phone line, but for some reason they don't know how to. Hey, I'll hold on to the phone until you go downstairs to the kitchen and pick up the phone. Why is everybody calling people back? You hold on to the phone, and then when you get to the kitchen, you go, hey, Mom, I'm down here. Hang up. And Mom hangs up, and then you're on the phone.
Yes, exactly. And you have one kid in college, a teenage daughter, a preteen daughter. You need another phone line. It's just irresponsible for you not to have another phone line. You're going to go insane if you don't.
There was a lot of stuff in this episode that I kept on thinking to myself, how dumb can you make the Keatons that they can't solve this problem? Like, solve the phone problem with the second line and let them teach the children how to use it. That 2 of you can be talking on the phone at the same time. Here's another one of those problems. We have 3 children already. We've just had a 4th child, and yet we've never experienced the issue of how do we have sex with 3 children. 4 children was the straw that broke the camel's back. But 3 children, we knew how to fuck when the 3 kids were home. But now that there's a baby here, we've lost that magic touch of figuring out how and when to delicately plan to fuck.
Yeah, they act like they have never had a kid before. This is a completely new experience. And you know what? I'm a little angry because I wish I had as many family members around me to help out raising kids. They have 2
children.
adult kids that can freaking babysit Andy, and they can go do whatever the fuck they want, and yet they can't make that happen?
I don't understand it. And it's like, okay, I get it that your house is crazy. I'm throwing this out here. You can't go and rent a motel room for a couple of hours to go and have a bottle of wine and get your dipstick wet? I'm not really sure what you guys are thinking. You're both working, so you explain to us in this episode, one of you is an architect, the other one's a station manager at a public TV station. For God's sakes, rent a room by the hour and go and fuck on that afternoon that Steven took off from the TV station. And have Alex order Alex and Mallory to watch baby Andrew. I pumped, I dumped, we'll be back in 2 hours. Goodbye.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, that's the thing. To go off a little bit and to get back to what you're saying, you know, it's a famous story in the script world of making movies where Die Hard with a Vengeance, the movie with Samuel Jackson and Bruce Willis, was originally written as a Lethal Weapon movie. Hence, why the 2 main characters are a black guy and a white guy. And so they reappropriated it to be a Die Hard movie and then added in a new actor, Samuel L. Jackson. And so this feels like a script that was written for a completely different sitcom because it's like, hey, how did 2 new parents deal with fucking when they have a baby? But then they tied it into a Keaton Family Ties episode, and it's like, what the fuck? They had 4 kids, like you're saying, Corey. It's like, if you think about this episode for even half a second as you're trying to write it, none of it makes sense.
That's exactly my point. The foundation is so incredibly weak. Not only have we seen this episode, and you know what? And the Keatons have seen this episode on television 20 times before during the 60s. Yeah. I just don't understand it. If you've ever watched television, you know how to solve this problem. And if you've ever had children, you know how to solve this problem. And here we are in 1984, early 85, and they can't solve the problem, and they have 2 teenage children and a 3rd child who's in her late tweens at this point. You could leave all 3 of them, or any of the 3 of them, home alone with Andrew to watch the baby and do whatever it is that you want to do. And you're treating this like it's a major issue, and it's not.
Not even a little bit. And I want to bring up quickly right now is how, in this amorphous state Alex P. Keaton is as a character. He's in fucking college, guys. Why is he acting like he's 12 years old? He's a grown adult. He could go to war. He should be able to watch a baby. Why? And so, like, it's weird because, like, he's in college, and he's their bread and butter for this show now. Like, he's the main draw of why people watch Family Ties by the 3rd season. And so they don't want to lose him by not having him be in a family situation. But the college thing, it feels like they've completely abandoned it, and now he's acting like a child.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. They've infantized all the Keaton kids on the show, it seems like. And here's something that was interesting, getting back to the scene. And it was kind of jarring. It was like, oh, this is what really the episode should be about, is the phone call Jennifer is having is about a boy. She's acting like a preteen. We have never seen that before. Mm-hmm. And there's so much you can mine with that. And it's an awesome opportunity to bring Mallory in, because this is something that 2 sisters can bond over.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, they just use it as a simplistic B plot when it's like, there's your A plot right there. You can make the whole episode about this.
Oh, 100%, because that's new information, and they should just go at that new information about Jennifer's burgeoning adolescence and be like, what can we mine from that? How can we tie in the other characters? I mean, that you're totally right.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. All right. So, in the living room, Steven is coming home from work. Elise is upstairs with Andy. And we find out that Alex and Jennifer are arguing over using the phone. And we find out that Elise and Steven haven't been able to really see each other because they've both been working. They have different schedules. Their ships passing in the night. And Elise finally, Steven's excited because Elise is there. He's there. They go in for a kiss. And basically, we find out that they need to spend some time together. And
they were sort of cryptic to me. There were a couple of scenes in which I kept on wondering, is that time together? Is that code for having sex? At first, I wasn't sure because they kept on talking about, and Steven was slightly pouty, like guys get when they haven't gotten it for a while. He was playing that sort of pouty card, like, well, I want to spend some special time with you. Special time, Schmuckle. You know.
Oh man! I would say if I were Elise and my husband was making those faces, I would be like, you know what? I got to take care of some stuff. I have some designs to work on.
Yeah, I got a meeting. Yeah, I think you're right, Corey. I think you're right, and it seems like just the way they handled that in a post Norman Lear TV world, it could have been handled even more adult. You didn't need it to be more patty. Like, just come right out. We need to have sex.
You haven't done it. You could have said anything, any euphemism that you had wanted. You could have created your own euphemism for it. That would have been a cuter subplot than what they came up with, which was sort of kind of straightforward, and every moment of it was handled in a completely straightforward manner. There wasn't a single surprise in this episode. Every scene proceeded exactly as you thought the scene was going to proceed, and there wasn't anything that came and you went, oh, there's a creative idea. Not one creative idea.
Nope. Yeah. Because then we go to the kitchen the next day. It's morning. Again, the same business is happening with Jennifer on the phone talking to Chrissy about this boy at school. Alex once again needs to use the phone. We never know why he's so urgent to use the phone.
No, they never told us what the deal is with Alex. They never told us what the deal is with Alex. It was just Alex needs the phone. He just seems like an asshole again. If you don't give him a reason to bug his little sister to get off the phone constantly, I'm expecting a very important phone call from a professor who wants me to assist him on a project. Okay, now you've got a reason. Now I understand. But just get off the phone, Jennifer. Get off the phone, Jennifer. Listen, you're 18, you're 19, you're 20 years old. For God's sakes.
Yeah.
That's your little sister. You should be a decent human being to her at this point.
Yeah, that's the craziest part. He has no motivation at all. He's just like, he just hates the sound of women talking. He's like, I just hate women. I hate them. Why should they be allowed to communicate with each other? It's like, If he were the same character now, he would be like, why do all these women vocal fry? What's their problem? Because that's the thing. Like what you said, Corey, it's totally true. It's like I was expecting him, because that was the thing growing up in a time when there was a landline and you didn't have another line, is I'm waiting for a call, I'm waiting to go out on a date, I'm waiting to do whatever, and so therefore I need you to get off the phone because the call is coming in. Right. And it's just a line. Why couldn't the writers just come up with a bullshit line?
It's just shoddy writing. It's just such shoddy, lazy writing to not give two sides to an argument.
Here's my other issue, and it's a logistical one. I'm going to assume that Steven works a regular Monday through Friday schedule. So if that's true, and he's calling in to take most of the day off, talking to Gus about taking most of the day off, it's got to be a Monday through Friday, one of those days. If it's a Monday through Friday and nobody's wearing shorts in Ohio and a t-shirt, and it's not obviously summer vacation, or someone hasn't explained to me that it's a Monday of Memorial Day, someone needs to tell me why the children are not in school.
That's when. That's literally when I write. Why does Alex never go to college? Like, what's going on?
I don't understand. Children are not attending school. By the way, that could be another solution to the fucking problem. You have 3 children who are in school all day long, and a 4th one you can watch Mrs. Olbeck watch him for 2 fucking hours while you do it doggy style.
Maybe I'm going into a deep dive that I shouldn't even be bringing this up. I apologize before I even say it. You've got a newborn baby, and usually it sleeps in the same room as you and your wife, right?
Sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just have sex with the baby in the room. It's not like it's going to damage it psychologically, right?
Never,
you could.
I never could.
You never could?
Nope, never could. Nope.
Oh, I did.
No!
Yeah.
Henry, in 20 years, I'm going to text him. I'm going to say episode 21, season 3.
Listen to your dad talk.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's just, like, especially when, like, we do live in a small apartment.
What choice do you have?
What choice do you have? Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know, this kitchen scene with Stephen taking off half a day and telling Gus that he wants to spend time, and everyone in the family is tired all the time, which is a very hackneyed joke at this point when you have a baby. But the thing that I wrote down in block letters is this phone call shit must stop. We cannot continue to listen to half of a scene. It's not interesting to listen to Jennifer's half of a scene.
And that's almost every scene in this. That's almost every scene has a phone call in this where it's half a scene. So what's happening this morning, though, in the... Go for it.
I was just going to say, thank God he brings out orange juice while she's on the phone.
Yeah.
Michael J. Fox.
He needs, yeah.
This episode would have been intolerable if not for the orange juice.
Absolutely.
Makes
I was hoping
better.
more. We got it later again, but boy, I was few and far between. My OG.
Not to divert too much, but since we brought up orange juice, we had a Quality Times fan actually ask Michael J. Fox about the orange juice. We posted the video.
Yes. I would say go to our either Facebook page or Twitter page, and our fan Dana, I'm trying to look at the handle to get the handle right. Dana R. Singh was at the Wizard World Con in Philadelphia, as well as other fans, or other listeners of the podcast went, and she asked about Michael J. Fox's and the Keatons' love of orange juice, and I feel like he gave a little bit of an answer that wasn't completely what we were going for, but he used it in the same way of, like, it helped to punctuate a punchline. So it's like he's like, and you can see it in the video, he talks about something where he's making a joke about Mallory and Nick and how dumb they are, and then he just goes, and so it's like almost like when you had a pipe in a play. If you had a pipe, you could do the same thing. It's like, well, it's good to see you back in men's clothes.
I think he prefaced it by saying that he's a very mannered actor, and mannered actors very often need props to help them to make a point. And I've seen it. To me, it's like folding laundry during a scene. You can use whatever prop you're using to demonstrate whatever emotion you're feeling in some way. I think it's always a good thing to have a business to do. And so he thought, okay, his business in a sitcom is drinking orange juice. He was able to use it for punctuation purposes, which I think is rather clever, actually.
Yeah. Now here's a
Yeah.
question based on that, because like Michael J. Fox is I think famously self-deprecating in his acting ability. Like he
Hmm.
always and like when he talks about in his autobiography meeting Tracy Pollan on the set of Family Ties, he's like she made me want to be a better actor and like learn the stuff that she was doing and stuff like that, because before that it was just I have a bag of tricks, and he always seems to sell himself that way. Do you think that Michael J. Fox is more just a collection of charismatic things that he does, or do you think that he's a talented actor?
I definitely think he's a talented actor. I don't think he's a collection of just tricks. I think whatever mannerisms he picks, it's very organic, very natural. I think he makes them work out of his own choices, his own instincts, which is the sign of a good actor. It's just something that he naturally gravitates to. I think he's a fantastic actor.
I think he's a very good actor because he's instinctively very good. But I think he's grown into a very good dramatic actor. Like his stuff on, was it The Good Wife, where he
Mm-hmm.
was on The Good Wife. He was just terrific, and I really enjoy watching him when he steps out and does something.
Yeah.
However, he's not like he's Robert Duvall. It's not like he doesn't have the
No.
abilities to transform into a variety of different, because he's a short Canadian dude who looks very
Yeah.
white. There's
Yeah.
not a lot of
Yeah.
options available. So he's had to sort of learn how to become an actor with greater depth as he's gotten older.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. I think that's true because it's like, yeah, he's just inherently so talented, and he has a sense of comic timing that you can't teach.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
Hmm.
and so yeah, and when you watch a lot of those '80s dramas, the things like Bright Lights, Big City, or Casualties of War, he's not at his best. Like he's not like
Hmm.
as wide in his spectrum of roles that he could play. But I feel like as he got older and continued on, he did get to that point. Like what you're saying, Corey.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was awesome in to kind of go along with Good Wife. He was awesome when he had a like a 3 arc episode on Rescue Me, where he was a guy. He
Hmm.
was like Dennis Leary's wife was dating a new guy, and that was him, and he was in a wheelchair and everything, and he was just like this total asshole. He was
Oh,
great.
cool.
He was really. It was good to see him play like just a rude asshole kind of character, and he did
Hmm.
it beautifully. It was great. All right, picking back up. So naturally, Stephen is making this morning a surprise for Elise, and we all know what happens when the Keatons try to surprise each other. Nothing goes as planned. And it's kind of stupid too because like you desperately need to spend time together, yet you're going to make it a surprise and not kind of try to coordinate each other's schedules because we find out she's got a meeting, she's got to work with people.
Oh, and you know what's interesting? The couple that she's meeting to design their guest house are Paul and Barbara Esposito, and that's me and my sister's name, except for the Esposito part.
Oh my god. So yeah, so the Elise comes. They have this whole like French farce back and forth between meeting each other in the kitchen. Stephen thinks she's gone for a walk. He runs out to see her. She's upstairs. It's this whole back and forth physical business. That
That
seems
went on forever. They thought that was the cleverest business they'd ever come up with.
Yeah,
yeah.
that was. Yeah, it reminded me of the old adage that it takes just as much work to make a bad play as to make a good play. And it's like you can tell that Michael Gross and Meredith Baxter, they worked really hard to get that bit to work, but all it
Uh-huh.
felt like by the end was, well, that ate 25 seconds.
Really? Yeah. That's all. Yeah. Yeah. Because all you had to do was go Elise, and then everything was stopped. Then you know where each other is. That's
Right.
it. That's all you had to do. That's
Yeah.
it. That's it right there. Um, and so they come up. They're going to spend some time together that night because Elise has her meeting and everything, and Steven's just decided he'll tell Gus he'll go back to work. And then we head back to, like I said, I didn't take notes because this was so boring. Corey, where are we the next day? Back in the living room? Are they planning to go out to dinner?
We're in the bedroom the next day. We're in.
Oh,
They're in the
yeah.
bedroom. He's sneaking in. She's napping, and he's sneaking in with flowers, which she very
That's right.
quickly, by the way, puts into the empty vase with water that we all have lying around our homes. Don't you always keep your vases just sort of with fresh water, waiting for someone to give you a bouquet of flowers?
Yeah, I'm always late to work because
You know,
I have to
just-
pour them out, wash them, and then put new water in. So I'm
Absolutely.
always late.
It's a pain. It's a
Yeah.
pain.
And we establish very quickly in the scene that they live a very stressful life, and no one can argue with them. 4 children, 2 careers. It's a very big. By the way, no one's ever a chaperone. You know, the one thing that takes more time in my life than anything else, and you'll certainly say this now, and it gets worse, is chauffeuring your child everywhere. I have to drive my kid everywhere he wants to go. He has to be driven. So life is driving your kid wherever the hell they want to go. And they never seem to have that problem also. But boy, everything else is stressing them out. And then, of course, there's one quiet moment. And what happens right after the quiet moment? The phone rings again for some more phone business. Now, here's my other question. Why answer it? Why do you have to answer it?
Yeah.
First of all, no, okay, I'll take it. None of you have answering machines. In '84, I'm sure we all had answering machines by this point. But so you could let it go to the machine.
Mhm.
But even if you don't want an answering machine, why answer the phone? If it's inconvenient for you, you do. Is this just a modern philosophy with cell phones that if it's inconvenient, you don't answer it?
No, you see old movies where the phone is ringing and they say don't answer it and no one answers it. Like it's ridiculous. And also, the person at the end of the phone is Chrissy. It's Jennifer's friend. Now, I'm looking at this, and it's close to bedtime for everybody.
They're all
and Chrissy's calling her in the middle of Chrissy's calling her that late at night. Who the fuck is raising Chrissy that she's calling that late at night?
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing, is that you have these 3 other children who, when the phone rings, it might be for them. So they'd probably pick it up. So I don't know why it needs to be a... And then, oh my god, this fucking episode. It's broken me. This discussion, it's broken me up. This is where it happens. This is where I get upset.
Are you happy, Family Ties? You broke Paul.
They have a phone in the kitchen, a phone in the living room, a phone in the parents' bedroom, perhaps a phone in the other kids' bedroom. But the point is, why do the kids need to come into this room to answer the phone? What the hell is going on?
Yeah.
And why don't you say, if you're a parent, hey, why don't you answer the phone down in the kitchen?
Yeah.
And this all is pissing me off now, too, Paul. I'm getting
Jennifer
pissed
gets
too.
a call from Chrissy. Let's walk through the logic of this. And she's gonna get all hot and bothered and like start, whatever she's gonna do about this. Let's call the kid like Johnny. Johnny at middle school. So she's all like, Chrissy, tell me about Johnny. I hear he has great forearms and he plays for the baseball team. And she's like getting all hot and bothered, and her parents are 5 feet away in the bed being like, you could go downstairs. You could go downstairs.
And then I also wrote down, if I was trying to have sex with my wife and wanted the children to leave the room, I don't think I would telegraph to the children that the reason I want them to leave the room was so that we could have sex. I think I would probably put up some sort of a bullshit smokescreen like, isn't it your bedtime? Why don't all of you just go to your rooms already so your mother and I can talk?
Yeah. And that's the thing. That's the thing. Can you imagine how much therapy you would have to buy for yourself if you were like, when I was 17 years old, there was a phone call. I went into my parents' room to ask them about laundry, and then they were like, get out, because we're going to fuck. like, all of these kids are now tormented for the rest of their days about, like, being, like, forced to imagine by their parents having sex.
Yes. Oh God. And I want to throw in one other thing. Okay. If we're trying to plot out this phone business happening, I understand why we had to pick Alex because he's the bread and butter for the show. But it just shows how little they care about Mallory, because that is the natural argument that you would have. Jennifer wants to talk to boys. Mallory wants to talk to boys. It just makes so much more sense instead of having. Yeah,
Yeah, I
and
didn't even think of that, Scott, but you're totally right. I mean, it's in her wheelhouse. Like that's
yes,
the direction you would take it.
yes, they single-handedly wrote an episode for Mallory doing this, and they didn't do it.
Yeah. Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah, now I'm pissed too, Paul. This fucking episode.
That's the thing about this episode. It keeps moving along. Like it's not like it just boggles down or anything, but it's like as soon as you start thinking about the logistics of what's happening in each scene,
Makes sense.
it makes no sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh dear God. Okay. So it's the next day, and the Keatons have planned to go out to dinner. Yes. Yeah, we're in the kitchen. Steven comes down dressed. Yeah.
I think so,
Yeah,
yeah.
That's what.
they're
Yeah.
going out to the incredibly fancy garden restaurant as opposed to Guido's.
I wrote that down too. I was like, it's a big evening because it's no Guidos.
I mean, my God, they went to a different restaurant. What's going on?
Mhm.
It's and that new set. It looked like they took some of the set from the comedy club and changed it to make it the garden restaurant. It looked very similar to that.
And
Um,
then they
and
give us
so,
this long-ass scene of them saying goodbye to Andrew, which you could sort of see where this was going, but it wouldn't stop. This is where I wrote down, for God's sakes, just go. Come on, we all know
mhm.
as parents, separation anxiety is far worse for the child than it is for the parent. If you're out of sight, you're usually out of mind. For God's sakes, go. What you're doing is you're making Jennifer, who appears to be caring for the child, her life way more miserable by standing there and insisting upon mommy and daddy hugging and kissing the baby goodbye 100 times. Go already. The child may cry, but Jennifer will calm the child down and distract them.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, so they finally go, and we go to the garden restaurant for a date.
Well, wait, I'm getting confused. Is this when? I'm sorry, I'm just trying to double check. Is this when they're in the kitchen and Mallory ironed Alex's shirt and they're talking about
Yeah.
who to call
Mm-hmm.
it? That
Oh yeah,
when they said Senator Metzenbaum, I was like, oh, that's some bullshit name. It's actually
No,
a real senator.
he was the senator from
is
Ohio,
it?
Howard Metzenbaum.
Yeah.
Oh my God! I thought the same thing, Paul.
Yeah.
Oh
No.
my God.
He was a great senator. I read
Oh,
about him on Wikipedia. I was like, oh, what a great guy. He was very like anti-corporate, anti-trust stuff, and I was like, good job, Metzenbaum.
nice. Oh, and Paul, you brought up something that we totally forgot. Not that it's important, but yeah, Alex and Mallory are having a little fight because Mallory has worn Alex's shirt and is trying to clean it for him.
Oh yeah, and this is just another example of shortchanging Mallory and the logic not stacking up. Is that she doesn't in like the first scene she doesn't know how the washer works, where it says that you have to ground it so that way you don't electrocute yourself. And it's like Mallory loves clothing. That's the one thing we know about her. And so she would know how to do laundry. So then fast forward, and she shrinks his shirt and gets like stained by other clothing or something like that. It actually looks like a really
Hmm.
cool shirt that I wish I had. I was like, oh, that looks like a cool shirt, and so
Yeah.
he's ironing it, and I don't know what the hell's going on. But once again, it just the logic of it doesn't make any sense.
I agree. I agree.
But as they're going to the new restaurant set, do you want to take a break?
Let's
Sure.
take a break.
Okay, so we're gonna take a break, and we'll be right back.
Paul, before we come back, hold on one sec.
Okay.
We'll hold. I just want to pull up the end credits really quick,
Oh, sure.
just so I have those. I forgot to do that beforehand. One sec.
So we're just hanging out. I wonder if Madison, are you watching? Hi, Madison. I think that's our one fan who's watching right now.
Is Madison watching us?
I think so.
Hey.
Do you have any questions you want us to answer in the second half? I'm asking her, not you, Corey.
Yeah.
I was like, Corey, is there anything you want to know?
Yeah, I'll figure it out.
What do you have planned for the day, Corey?
I don't know what I have planned for the day. My wife is out working right now, and
Okay.
Logan's in his room. We'll figure this out. We have a nice. It's sort of lovely out here. It's very overcast.
Oh,
Nice
nice.
and cool in Los Angeles today.
It's hot here. It's
Oh,
like 86.
and then the Tony Awards are tonight, so.
Of course. Well, actually, I'm doing one better. I'm not going to be watching them, obviously. I'm going to be. Uh-oh, we just lost Scott. Here, I'll re-invite him. I'm going to a play reading. I'm doing this play reading tonight.
What play? An original?
Original play. It's called Providence. It's just like this. It takes place in a bus station, and it's like this roving group of characters who interweave with each other in a bus station.
I like that.
Yeah, it's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any people that you're hoping will win tonight at the Tonys?
Oh, you know me. I love Hamilton. I just love it. It's great.
Yeah.
Lots of Hamilton stuff tonight. One of my old friends is one of the producers on the Gloria Estefan show, so they were very happy that they got a spot to perform, even though they got no Tony Award nominations.
Oh no.
But they're still performing tonight, which is like that's really the big deal, is to watch everybody perform and try and get people to come to New York and see the shows.
Right. Is it is the Gloria Estefan show like a jukebox show where it's like all of her music, or is it an original thing that she did?
No, it's a bio. It's a jukebox bio.
Okay.
But she's not in the show, but she is performing tonight on the Tony. So they got her to perform tonight. So that's sort of a big deal.
Yeah, that's great. What did your friend do in the production?
He's one of the producers.
Okay.
He's won. He's been about 4 years in a row. He's won a bunch of Tony Awards. This is a guy who I just met when I was working in the theaters when I was like 21 years old, and he was just another one of the people who was working in the theaters with me. And he married a rich woman from England. Mm-hmm. He was a very unsuccessful actor who was able to take family money of her and start investing.
That's amazing.
And he's been really successful. Last couple of years, he was one of the lead investors on that Christopher Durang play, Masha.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I still haven't read that. I really need to read it.
He was one of the lead producers on Peter and the Stargazer. He was one of the lead producers on, what was his big music? Passing Strange a few years ago, which was a real strange musical from the public.
I was going to say, so he does all the like really kind of like edgy out there mainstream stuff. That's good.
Yeah, that's what he likes. Yeah. So always happy. He can't really win anything tonight. Most of the last few years, he's actually been up on stage. I mean, it's like been weird. He hasn't been speaking. He doesn't invest enough money to be able to speak, but he invests enough money to be able to put on his tux and show up at the Tonys in a good seat.
Hey guys, sorry about that.
No, it's fine. That's really cool though. That's amazing.
Okay.
What's his name?
Larry Hirschhorn.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Scott, you all set? You all right? All right.
I'm all set. Yep. Let's jump back into it.
Okay. So here we go, and we're back. We're at the restaurant. They built a whole new set for this terrible, terrible episode.
And another thing that you can predict this scene moment by moment right before every moment happens in the scene.
And there's no jokes. Like, there's nothing that's funny that happens in this.
Well, they try to... We do baby talk to each other. We're going to talk in baby talk. And then they order everything from the menu. And somebody thought it was funny for her to order the baby lamb, the baby carrots, and the baby lima beans. And the waiter has no specific distinct character. He's just sort of grumpy.
Yeah.
And then for the third baby joke, for our trilogy of baby jokes, a couple comes in to the Garden Restaurant on a Saturday night where everybody's dressed up and they have their baby in a baby carrier.
I hated those people.
I did too. You sprung for the babysitter, but they wouldn't. No.
Yeah. You're going to a restaurant that clearly isn't for children, all right?
Go at
there's
5 o'clock or at 11 o'clock. Don't go at 8 o'clock. Be considerate.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean,
Here's the thing that annoyed me.
I get upset anytime I see a baby in public. It just makes me angry that people choose to reproduce. And so, no, but honestly, the baby. Wait. The baby that this other couple brings in is like a newborn. Why would you do that? Like, isn't it like a thing? Because like I've been having friends who are having babies, and they usually, as like for the first 6 months, they don't leave the baby's side, and they don't really go out anywhere. Why is this couple going to a restaurant?
I have no explanation.
I have no explanation, and I would it's like you said, Corey. You have to be considerate. I would never bring a baby, a toddler, anyone into a restaurant like that. Now, if you're going to like a family bar and grill kind of atmosphere, sure, by all means, because you know what you're walking into. That is established. But this nice restaurant where people are paying money and going out on a date and probably special occasions, no, you don't ruin it with a crying baby.
That's weird. It's really weird. And honestly, like any other type of restaurant, it's fine. Bring a baby, bring a toddler, bring a whatever. But like what they made this restaurant look like, it's like when we see Guido's all the time, you can tell it's a family establishment. It's not very fancy. Even Karen said it was like a middle-income restaurant or whatever.
Yeah.
But like this one looks like an upscale type thing. I just don't understand because the baby that we see is just as old as Andy. Or it might be the same kid.
Yeah, I wrote that down. I wrote down how many pairs of twins or triplets do you think they had on the set this week?
Yeah,
so I thought it could be the same. Why? I thought they used the other twin. I thought it was just sort of like, no, who cares? It's just baby. It's just baby face. It was really young.
Yeah.
When they did
Yeah.
So.
Here's what also annoyed me about this, and this is where I really found like this episode has no reality whatsoever. Corey, you probably experienced this. When you are able to get away from your kids when they're babies, because it's very, you have to hire a sitter. It's a very big deal. Do you really spend that much time wanting to be back with the baby and not savoring and enjoying?
When I'm gone, I'm gone. Ain't my problem. Give me a phone call if there's an issue.
That's us. That's me and Karen. Man, we finally get a date night. We've both been working. We got someone to watch Henry. We are enjoying this.
Absolutely. It happens so rarely, you enjoy it.
Can I ask if like when the first time you've done it though, like when you're young parents, your first kid, is it like the first time you go out that you're like, oh, I feel so anxious? Does that happen?
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say, you check in a little bit more.
Check in a little bit more.
Yeah,
okay.
but not to the point where you're obsessively talking about the baby. Yeah, or needing to see the baby, or needing to share photos, which they do with that couple.
Totally.
No.
And reality check again. This is their fourth child.
Yes.
Exactly. At this point, it shouldn't even be an issue.
Right.
Yeah. God damn this episode. So that's essentially what happens at the Garden Restaurant. Like Lee starts talking to the other couple. They start sharing pictures. Steven walks off acting like he's going to the men's room because he's above talking about the baby, and makes a phone call home to Jennifer secretly to find out what's going on. And then Elise catches him in that.
Right, and that's supposed to be like some big embarrassing moment where that scene petered out, and now we go to the big denouement, which is like a wet fart. This scene is sort of wet fart.
Oh my
It's just
God.
nothing ever really happens. We knew where this was going. So
Yeah.
they almost stated at the beginning of this last scene, we have 2 careers, 3 children, and 1 baby. What are we supposed to do? We're tired. We're all stressed. We can't find time. Well, I'm sorry to tell you guys, you know what? You should have thought of this before you had a 4th child.
Oh my God. Yeah. And it's, again, the easiest problem, you don't have your kids helping out with this. This is, it makes no sense. This should be easy. So much easier than when you had your first 2.
Hey, remember, my 2nd child was born when my 1st child was 14 years old. He was the best babysitter we ever had in our whole lives. Still
I'm
is.
sure. I'm
He was
sure.
great. He was very responsible, and we had a built-in babysitter from the very beginning.
Yeah, and that's the thing. He's
Yeah.
younger than Mallory and Alex, and he was
Mhm.
able to, in real life,
Yes.
babysit effectively. So it's like that. I mean, again, the reality of this episode is the 2 kids should be helping out to the point that Steve and Elise shouldn't feel as crazed as they do.
This true.
Mhm.
And now I
Yeah.
have to throw
And even
something out there just quickly. Just like you have your shoot me, kill me, fuck me, all those things, Corey. This episode brought out, I have written it I don't know how many times. I have who cares. I have it at least 7 times written throughout my breakdown of this episode.
Because ultimately, in every scene, you sat there and you went, who cares? There's no nothing. What are the stakes going on?
yeah.
Who's going to be hurt? You know what? Are we supposed to feel bad for you guys for having a 4th child? You made that decision. I don't know. We're supposed to be feel bad that both
Yeah.
of you are still. You made that decision. I don't know. It's not. I don't feel that
Yeah.
bad for you.
And
Everything seems to be all right. Your other 3 kids they're healthy. They should be able to help you.
Yeah.
yeah, and from a teenage perspective, like from Mallory and Jennifer especially, it's like that's negotiating. It's like, hey, I watch Andy for you this weekend. Can I go out with my friends
Yep, you
on
sure
this day?
can.
You know,
If
like
you watch
it's
Andy.
bargaining. Yeah, it's
Absolutely.
bargaining power. So they should want to some degree.
Here's a
Mhm.
question.
Yeah, it just
As for a babysitter, what's the youngest you guys would pick for a babysitter?
I was very lucky. I had mostly adults. I guess Griffin was the only one who was the youngest babysitter. What's the youngest babysitter you've ever had, Scott?
the youngest baby. We haven't had that many babysitters because my sister-in-law watches Henry quite a bit. But we have there's one of my students. She is 18, 19 that
Okay.
watches Henry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But I know kids that are 14, 15 that are babysitting.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's usually
That's when they start.
doing.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this scene, they go over this, and there was sort of a pattern to this scene. There was sort of a rhythm to the scene where, they were talking about, they understood that this was just a phase that they were going through, where they were going through. Yeah, it is. You know what? Parenting is all just a bunch of phases strung together. That's all it is, because it changes so quick from moment to
Yeah.
moment. So
Yeah.
it's a phase. Yeah, it's just a phase. Oh, until Andrew goes to college. Okay, yeah, it's 18 years. It's going to be an 18-year phase. And then one at a time, the kids sort of come in to apologize for taking up their parents' time and cock-blocking them. But, of course, they're cock-blocking them again.
Right. They're not gonna.
It's the cock-block family. They are the cock-block family.
Yes.
That's what they do, is they cock-block their parents. Look, if I had a kid who was cock-blocking me constantly, my attitude would change very quickly, and I would start saying things like, hey, go to your room. What do I need to spell this out for you? Just go to your room. Watch a movie. Leave me alone.
And you would think, for all the amount of time that, like, when the kids were coming into their room that night and they were like, we want to get down to business, get out of here, they would have said, you're cock-blocking us. And
Right.
they would have just bleeped it on NBC.
It's like a 19-year-old and a 17-year-old. You can tell them, say, hey, I'm trying to make, right now, I'm hard as a rock. I am trying. Would you leave us alone, for God's sake, Alex?
Alex, aren't there any 40-year-old women you could be having sex with? Mallory, isn't there someone you could be giving a hand job in a car? Come on.
Where's Lorraine? Call up Lorraine.
Yeah.
And finally, the
Oh,
kids
goddamn.
leave the room, and the single most predictable moment of the episode happens, where they're finally left alone, and now we've got all the time in the world to...
And credits.
Mhm. Well, we couldn't see that coming a mile away, could we?
Oh man! And
Oh
you know
my
what? The way
God.
the way that scene petered out, I was like I was like tweeting stuff, and I look up and I'm like, oh shit, the credits are on, because I didn't realize because it was such
That
like
was-
a landing. It came in for such a soft landing for an ending. It was terrible.
They did. They were very soft there at the very end, taking it out. It was a very soft end.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. Well, guys, I'm glad it's over. I'm glad this one is over. And so is Henry, because he's knocking on the door.
Oh, good.
Hey, bud. We were just talking about babysitters. Can you say hi?
Hi, Henry.
Hi, Henry.
Well, gang, for questions and comments, please be sure to email us at qualitytimewithfamilyties@gmail.com. And for all updates, be sure to follow us on Twitter at QTWFT. Also, if you want to join in on the fun and watch us live, be checking Twitter, because we post exactly when we're going to go live. And you can also follow each of us on Twitter. I'm at Follow Jones.
I'm at Paul Packler.
And I'm at Corpep.
And be sure to like our Facebook page. We'd like to thank our host and producer, Barbara Dillon, at Fanbase Press. Fanbase Press is a comic book publisher and an online community supporting other creators and fans through daily reviews, interviews, and podcasts that span the pop culture spectrum. So be sure to check out Fanbase Press at fanbasepress.com. We also like to thank Perry Adams, who beautifully performs the theme song Without Us. Check out Perry's music at perryadams.com. We also like to thank Brian Dillon. Brian Dillon is the president of Fanbase Press, and be sure to follow him at Comic Book Slayer. And lastly, Sean Foster, Fanbase Press's graphic designer. Be sure to check out his stuff too as well. And also, not to forget, Bryant so graciously edits our show and edits out Henry when he gets too loud.
Here, wait.
All right, thank you, everybody.
Before you go, Scott, before we go,
Yes.
one tweet from Madison.
Oh, let's hear it.
She says, I feel like this is a great note to go out on as like an advertisement for our show. She says, I can't believe how much stuff you guys pointed out that I never paid attention to / noticed.
Mm.
I think that's a pretty
Our
good
job is
advertisement.
done.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think so too. And with that, everybody, we will see you next week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.